Welcome to Women of Resistance. Now, the woman whose voice we want to amplify today is Rawan in Gaza. An accomplished accountant and a mother of two, Rawan offers an insight into the horrors women and children are experiencing in the occupied Palestine as the genocide rages on. Here is her story.
The women of Gaza stand as a special kind, often spoken of, but rarely given the opportunity to share their own unique journey.
My name is Rawan. I'm 29 years old. I'm a mom for two kids, Safa, a 5-year-old, and Saeed is 1.5 years old.
Prior to the current bombardment of Gaza, Rawan was in a unique position where she had to interact on a daily basis with the very people whose apartheid system was an oppressive force for Palestinians.
I graduated in 2017 and I started my career in accounting and business administration. I started working in a shipping company, shipping and custom clearance company. What we do at this company is we communicate with the other side of Gaza. And the other side of Gaza, I mean by Israelis. I started having work relationship with them, daily phone calls with different people of Israelis, until I just got to the point where I can't do it anymore. And I spent a year and a half approximately there, but I couldn't just work in a place where I can be in contact with them. And you don't think that they have different point of views about us. No, they don't. It's like, I would just say, they're living their lives. They're living on our land. They can do whatever they want. They can import whatever they want. Meanwhile, everything we do has restrictions. Everything that enters Gaza has restrictions, has license. It has to go through different stages of license, and it's very hard. I would be angry from inside on how we are living and how they are living. And I had to leave this job.
For women living through the genocide, their very knowledge and resilience is an act of powerful resistance, one that Rawan actively encourages.
We as Palestinian women want to thrive. We want to thrive, and we just don't want our life just to become what the Israelis want. They want us nothing, but we are not nothing. We are something. We are numbers. And until now, in the war, until now, I sent my daughter to school. And why do I do that? Because I don't want her to just sit all those months or those years without just getting anything. Or I don't want to achieve their goal. Their goal is just for us to be uneducated, living in the Stone Age. But we are trying to fight that as better as we can with our capabilities. I'm capable of sending her, then I send her to school. So we never give up. We're never giving up, no matter what happens.
Gazan resilience is also attempting to carve out a semblance of a life in the midst of a genocide.
Our lives after 7 October has changed 180 degrees. We lost our homes. We were displaced many times. We lost a very important family member. We lost everything except my family. I have my kids and my husband, and I'm just so grateful for that. But I'm just like living in a stone age. We have no electricity, no decent food, and everything is very expensive, and you just try to find jobs. It's not easy to find a job also right now. So it's like very hard for me to see my kids grow in those circumstances. So that yes, my life has changed a lot, and I don't know if someday we will get back to our lives, but I'm not happy, and I will not accept the lives we are living right now, because I just can't keep my kids growing in a tent. So when the war started, my little son was 5 months old. So right now he's 1.5. He has never seen an apartment. He doesn't know what is a door. He doesn't know what is a kitchen, normal kitchen. He doesn't have toys. I just looked all over here in Deir al-Balah. I couldn't find any. I just sometimes feel very sad for what he is living, or for what Safa is living also. Safa goes to school without books. There are no books. We found notebooks, we have found pencils, and she started going to school. But the school she's going to are also tents. So I don't think that she's having the child's rights. As a child, she has rights, and we don't have those rights. And those are the least rights she could have, but we don't have them.
The displacement endured by Rawan and Gazans like her have taken a terrible, terrible toll.
It's like we had half an hour to leave. We packed our things and we went down the stairs and we left for the north. And for some circumstances, I had to be separated from my husband. He had to stay in Nusayrat at a school, and I had to stay with my family in Khan Yunis. So we lived like 3 to 4 months away apart. It was very hard, very, very hard to live without my husband.
One of the elements that's rarely discussed, perhaps because so few make it out intact to speak on its traumatizing impact, is the reality of being bombarded by Israeli munitions and the knowledge that any moment could be your last, as it was for Rawan's beloved brother-in-law and other loved ones.
The second trauma I think that we have been through is on the 22nd of January 2024. It was 9 o'clock at night in Khan Yunis. It was near Al-Aqsa University. We live near Al-Aqsa University. So what happened is we were sleeping. It was 9 p.m. at night, and suddenly there were bombing everywhere around us. We were like in the middle, and everywhere was bombing. It was very scary. We were approximately 100 people in the same room. So it was devastating, because at the moment we know that tanks and the armies are on our doors. It means that we're all gonna die. We didn't have a chance to live. And it was like from 10 p.m. when we were downstairs on the first floor until the second day. There was tank shells, tank bullets everywhere, and we were saying that we're going to die at any moment. There are a lot of children and a lot of women and a lot of youth. So the people we were with started discussing whether they put out a white flag or not. And some people said, if you do that, they'll shoot at us. So they had a conflict whether to do that or not. But at the end, they decided not to do that and to wait for our faith.
For Rawan, the harrowing memories are at the surface. Such is their raw power. No family in Gaza has escaped this fate and the resulting trauma.
When I'm speaking to you right now, it's like the voices in my head are very loud for what we were living back then, and how every tank shell, how the children's cry and women's screams and men trying to calm us down. It's like all the scenario had just came back to me. But what happened next is suddenly the tank shells, they went inside the hall, or what do we call it, front yard of the house we lived in. And right now everyone was just screaming that they were saying, now it's our time to die. And the soldiers started shooting at the first floor we were at, so everyone just had to sit down on the floor and watch his back, watch his head. I wish that I was there alone without my kids. I wish my kids wouldn't just live that. So what happened is they started shooting and they started shouting that everyone gets out with his ID up high, and you would get out as each one alone. And what we were scared of is our youth. I was worried about my youngest brother because he is still 17 years old, and we always hear that they take the youth, they just would do something to them, they would arrest them. Like, we were kind of worried about that. So they said the army was just shouting that, saying that first of all, start with men. So like 10 men went out with their IDs out, open, and then we did not hear anything. We don't know where did they go or what happened. The next thing is they started shouting, no, don't go out alone, go out as a family. So me and my family gathered each other and we went outside with our IDs open wide. They would check our IDs and they would just tell us, now you should go from here to Rafah. That's their word for everyone. Yalla. They were saying, yalla, go to Rafah. So we walked outside the door, and the next thing you see when you go out of the door is a tank, a huge tank. It was very scary, very, very scary. The soldiers were very scary. When we had to show them our IDs, they were just sitting and they were ready to shoot if you do something wrong, or if you say any word. They were ready to shoot you.
It is difficult to feel any optimism of an immediate cessation of violence when there have been so many false dawns for Gazans.
really don't know what will happen next, because whatever we do right now is wake up, and if we wake up alive, we thank God for being alive and our family being alive. And other than that, I could not think what will happen. After it's like right now, after an hour, I don't know what will happen. Sometimes don't want to get my hopes up, because whenever we get our hopes up for any negotiations that are being held, and then the negotiations fails, we get into a depression era. So I don't want to think what is going to happen. I only wish my family's safety.
Rawan and her family continue to do everything to fight for their own survival, but have a message for those outside Palestine who claim the same.
I know you're doing your best to stand for Palestine, and you're trying to make a difference, but it's not helping a lot at the moment. But I just hope you keep fighting, keep standing. I think Gandhi was able to change the world because he was persistent. And I'm pretty sure that people like you, who supports freedom of speech, and values humanity and values human lives, would never stop fighting for another people.
Now with me here in the studio today is Carole Swords, a peace and equality activist. Welcome, Carole.
Thank you for your invitation.
Your initial thoughts first as you watch the story of Rawan.
Extreme sadness, anger, and worrying about what her future is, what her child's future is. Is she going to be a grandmother? Is she going to be a great-grandmother? I'm 5-generation family. And she's pleading not for herself. She's pleading for what's happening. Please don't forget us. And also I heard while she's talking, the drones above her continue all day, all night. Her little baby son, I've got a great-granddaughter who's a couple of months difference to her, just in ages, and she's meeting all her milestones. She's just done her 25 metres swimming. She's ringing me on the phone, Grandma, you know. What is the future for her little boy if we don't keep up the fight? This is why we cannot stop. In fact, we need to step it up. And negotiations after negotiations, we just have to sit and hope and pray that there is going to be a future. There's going to be a future for her children, for her future, for their future, for humanity's future. Because if we continue down this line of accepting this happening, there is no future.
But do you think, Carole, that as we have been watching a genocide like this for over a year now, and me and you know, you're talking about your grandchild and seeing her story, connecting it to you. Do you think that everybody is able to see this? Do they realize these are women like me and you? They have got dreams, they have got children, they've got lives. When our politicians, for example, are making decisions complicit in the genocide, do they see these women as normal human beings?
No. Some do. Some try to. But a lot of them don't talk about it. Don't want to talk about it. But there's a line there as well, because I think there's a big mistake happening with all the films that are going on. When you watch something on Ukraine, again, mothers with children and struggling, why is it always in English? Why is it always in English? Whenever it's on TV, you always have someone English speaking or dubbed in English. And why is it the struggle to, which She's brilliant. She speaks amazing. Oh, God, I have trouble speaking English, and she's dual language. She speaks another language, and eloquently and telling us her story. But why isn't there more stories being told, and in English, dubbed in English, not sort of like in Arabic, because people would switch off to that. Mm-hmm. But more people, I think, are switch on to the Ukraine because it is in English. You are getting that story from the mum. Oh, my child, this, my school, this, my that. Mm-hmm. So I think there's some kind of link missing there when it's on the BBC, when it's on whatever programme it comes on. Yeah. Yes, a lot of it, the majority of it is full of propaganda. Full of propaganda, we know that. But unless we hear the words...
Which is what we're trying to do, Carole, bringing these stories so that we can hear from them firsthand rather than us speaking for them. Now, just to remind our viewers, we are discussing the story of Rawan from Gaza on this episode of Women of Resistance. The other thing, Carole, is, one of the major problems why this is happening, and now it's happening in Syria, and there's going to be a lot of Rawans all over the world, especially in the Middle East. It comes from the crux of imperialism. We sit at the seat of imperial nation here. Do you think there will ever come a time when we will live in the Western world that is not advocating occupation, that's not advocating imperialism? Does that look possible?
No, I can't see it. I can't see people stop believing the propaganda. I can't see it happening. Our children are getting more because we've got the internet and whatever, but again, the propaganda's on there. So when you're continuously being said, well, these are terrorists, these like what's happening in Syria, they don't look at the terrorists who are committing the atrocities. Like, they don't look at Israel, they look at because it's, the first link is Hamas terrorist, Hezbollah terrorist, Syria, Assad terrorist. Because you're programmed to think the way they want you to think, this is the way it works. So capitalism will continue. Imperialism will continue because people are brainwashed into thinking and listening to what they tell you.
But then what is our role in that? Because, especially as women and women who are able to come from different walks of life, because there is a common factor here, which is humanity that's bringing us together. What is our role? I mean, you heard Rawan saying, don't give up, be persistent, speak for us, because they can't speak for themselves. What can we do, Carole?
We can do whatever we can as mothers, as grandmothers, as great-grandmothers. We tell her story. We don't stop telling the story. We don't care about who we upset by telling the story. We go to demonstrations, we write letters, we talk on radio shows, we talk on talk shows. We continue, we put posters up, we put flags up, we wear the kafaya, we keep Palestine alive. We keep Rawan's children alive by talking. This is the only way we can do it. And not only talking to ourselves and to people who believe in what we believe in humanity, talk to the ones that don't believe. Talk to the ones who are saying, oh, Hamas, oh, this, oh, that. These are the ones, you can talk to as many people as you like who think the same as you.
And and I think you have been doing a lot of that, you were telling me beforehand. But, if Rawan was listening to you and she needs that assurance, what would you say to her, Carole?
I'm saying don't give up.
Absolutely. And on that note, we are not giving up. Thank you so much, Carole, for being with us today. And thank you for watching. Until next time, we leave you with the Palestinian sounds of the artist Save. Goodbye.